Alright, in this video I'm going to remove this big old front bumper and attempt to install a 260Z front bumper. Now the 240Z bumper, it hugs the body of the car very tightly, just like this. It was equipment from 1970 through the beginning of 1973. Then they made the bumper a little bit larger so that it could actually take about a 5-mile-an-hour bump. And that bumper carried on into the 260Z. So this picture is a pretty rare 260Z bumper in very good condition. You can see how it is kind of set out from the car just a couple inches with a little bit of rubber trim to kind of fill in the gap there. Now the 260Z does use compressible large mounting points. Several years back when I bought this, the yard offered to remove the bumper for me. I didn't know they were just going to go out there and just cut the mounting points right off, which sucks because I would have actually unbolted the mounting points and bought those along with the bumper if I could, but whatever. So I now need to see if that'll line up with the 280Z mounting point at all or not. Your little remove your hornet's nest, then you got some little wraparound bracket, probably related to this trim piece here. I'm going to take the bumper off of this and see how this lines up with my 260Z bumper. So we will just be taking those bolts out right there at the back. I got the old rusty 260Z front turn signals out of the yard. I might see what I can do to revive them. Okay, so this side is free, but there could be a little bolt that attaches there. The other side still has that bolt. Yeah, right there. We just gotta get it. Just like that. And that's what it is with no bumper, but the original trim behind it. So I can take this out with just a little bolt. These have mounting points underneath. Yeah, these do look much larger than what the 260Z has, but we'll see what we can do. Well, they're at an angle, but I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, if I had the full bracket, I might be able to just bolt it right to the frame of the car. Oh well. Oh, surprised that came out. Oof. Yep, busted off. Just like that bolt for the lower portion. There's a bolt through the bumper, probably behind this rubber cap. The rear bumper, almost every single thing snapped, but in that case the bolts could fall out and I had empty holes where I could mount stuff up still with new bolts. On the front, it looks like there's a lot of studs in there that are meant to be reused, not easily replaced. If the bolt starts to turn a little bit, it might survive. Alright. Bolt is so rusty. Doesn't even have the same shape. I think it moved. Nice. And because the threads were lubricated, it might actually just clean them off as they come through the nut. Yeah, this one's alright. The other one, the head looks much worse. Alright. It's out. That was the easy side. Let's try this one. Not budging so far. Let's give it a few more minutes with this. We'll be back in 5 minutes. There we go. Get the bolt to come up just a little bit and then put some more penetrating oil at the base so you can really get in there onto the threads directly. Of course. Wow. 2 bolts out. Now we can see what these rear ones will do. Oh. Alright, it broke off partway down. Okay, well, both of them are off now. That's what it looks like. This side looks like the side got bent in, it's twisted, it's kinked top and bottom. This side over here is more straight. Lots of rust on the backside as usual. The front, I can clean that up a bit. It won't be perfect, of course, but it'll look much better with scrape off a little bit of this spray paint. Use some steel wool on the rust. Be much better overall. So, now I need to address the issue of how to mount this. This bracket looks like it's welded at one point there, so we got 2 broken studs on one side, 2 non-broken but rusty studs on the other. So when you cut open a 280Z bumper shock, you probably knew that there was some fluid in there, but even more will leak out. We've got a large inner piston. Alright, once it's cut, this sleeve can come down, and there's a seal, this thing, which prevents this from sliding all the way up, or also prevents this entire shock from exiting the car out the front. So let's... Alright, so the shock was fully extended when I cut 1.5 inches back. That insert that's in the other end of the receiving portion will not come out, but I can push it in further. So I'm going to cut this short to give me some space, and then I can slide this in which will push the shock end overall further. This is only because I'm going to mount a different type of bumper, but a lot of times these shock mounts are just thrown away. Alright, there's the bumper mount. I cut the bottom lip off the factory one. The other stud was on the lower part. Just wire brushed it a bit. A little black paint. Got the factory threads in the thing. The bolt goes in there. The other side, the threads didn't make it, so I drilled it through and bolted a similar bolt in there. And then the other side, the front stud survived, although you have an ugly stud in the front of the bumper. And then similar thing on the top. No stud in the back, so I'll have to just put a bolt and a nut over here. And I'll hold it up to the car, figure out if I want a second one or not, and drill that as needed. Now for these bolt sizes, I just had to figure out what the diameter and the thread pitch was and just go buy these large bolts from a hardware store. Same with the mounting point of the black bracket that I mounted to the 280Z bumper bracket. Just find something that works for you. On the inside, that piston, you push it all the way back in there. And then on this picture, you can see all I did was drill a hole all the way through multiple layers of metal. Made that hole small enough that a fairly large sheet metal screw would be nice and snug going in. It's definitely not sturdy. It's just there to hold the bumper on as a decoration. And so this is my car. The finished product, the good side where the bumper's not bent, looks pretty good. Then the bad side, where the bumper kind of sticks out and is bent downward. I did spend some time on that off camera, kind of trying to straighten it a bit. Barely made any progress with that. So just left it, since for the time it's just temporary. I'll get a 240Z bumper in the future.